What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Don coming live now with the TruPlayaz podcast, episode number 37. On this podcast, once again, I'd like to thank you guys for listening to me. It's been about we are at the 1 year anniversary point of the TruPlayaz podcast. I started this podcast last year with my first episode on June 26th of 2018, and it's been I must say it was a great year, and at the end, it ended badly for me. I started off great with the podcast, a lot of episodes, a lot of people listening to it, and I had a death of my mother in late November. So it kind of like threw a little crimp in my plans about boosting the podcast. I know you guys enjoyed the podcast about the recap of the the NFL draft, the New York Mets. And it's funny because I first started this podcast because I wanted to rant about the New York Mets. But that'll be the next episode right after this episode. I'm planning on recording 2 episodes tonight, so it'll be 2 episodes posted by midnight tonight. If not, then just this episode will be posted by midnight tonight, and early tomorrow morning, the episode about the Mets and their sorry-ass season is going to be posted tomorrow. The reason for this episode is quite simple. You know what I'm saying? The NBA free agent frenzy just started. Let me tell you guys something. I'm a big-time Knicks fan, and let me tell you something. My mouth dropped when I heard that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are both going to the Brooklyn Nets. As you listen to my previous podcast, I did mention that the Porzingis trade will work only if they get Kevin Durant. And guess what? The Knicks didn't even get Kevin Durant. I don't know what happened. I mean, different sources said that he was leaning toward the Nets. Other sources saying that he was possibly going to try to team up with Kawhi Leonard and come to the Knicks. But I feel bad. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm feeling bad right now for my team. I'm not as bad as Stephen A. Smith right now. He is heartbroken as much as rightfully so, because we as Knicks fans, we haven't had a good team in over 20 years. I mean, we had a little taste in 2012, but that was a flash in the pan with Carmelo and Rasheed Wallace, Kurt Thomas, Jason Kidd, Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith. That was a flash in the pan. That was just a one year wonder with that team. We thought that team was going to come back and compete for a championship the year after, when it inexplicably lost to the Indiana Pacers in the semifinal, East Conference semifinals that year. But as it turns out, it turned out to be a flash in the pan because we haven't been anything close to the playoffs since then. But I'm going to tell you this. The Brooklyn Nets so far the big winners of the free agency of this year. Like I said, they got Kevin Durant 4 years, $164 million. Kyrie Irving comes aboard for 4 years, $141 million. Both of those guys came via sign and trade. Kevin Durant is the sign and trade with D'Angelo Russell, as well as Kyrie Irving coming along with the sign trade of Kemba Walker, which Kemba Walker is going to Boston for 4 years, $141 million in that sign and trade. Like I said, D'Angelo Russell is going to Golden State in the sign and trade for Kevin Durant with a 4-year, $117 million contract, in which Golden State intends to probably try to flip him to another team, which is, is interesting. You just signed a guy, now you want to flip it to another team, probably for more salary cap relief. But since we're on Golden State, they did extend them Klay Thompson, 4 years, $190 million. A lot of big money being spent on guys who are going to miss the first season of that big contract. Honorable mention, DeAndre Jordan also signs with the Brooklyn Nets, 4 years, $40 million. A very big, good pickup for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets should be ready, set, go by the time the season starts. They have taken over New York. I don't care what anybody tells me. They have taken over New York. I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain to you guys why that's the case now. But let me just go through more of the free agent signings, the more important free agent signings that we have here. We have Jimmy Butler's going to Miami, 4 years, $142 million. Sign trade with the 76ers, which the 76ers get Miami's young shooting guard. The Mavericks re-sign Kristaps Porzingis, KP, 5 years, $158 million. For me, it's whatever, because quite simply, I can't keep a guy who doesn't want to be here. I don't want a guy who doesn't want to be in New York. I want a guy who wants to be in New York and wants to compete in New York. And he just didn't want to be here. And plus, he got a situation with that, with sexual assault. The Knicks don't. Last thing the Knicks need is that type of problem on their hands, and to pay that guy that type of money. Tobias Harris resigns with 76 for 5 years, 180 mil, and the 76ers also signed Al Horford for 4 years, 109 million. I'm interested to see how the dynamic will work between Horford and Embiid. Both guys are both low post guys, but also could also stretch the floor with 3-point shooting. I got to see how Brent Brown is going to utilize them together. And of course, the Bucks re-signed Chris Middleton, 5 years, $178 million, and that is the most important free agent signings in my book. I'm not going to go through the entire signing, but the Knicks, like I said, it's heartbreaking to see them not hit on any big time free agent. And what made it worse is they pretty much signed a lot of players that pretty much took him out of the Kawhi Leonard sweepstakes also. Even though he more than likely he's going to either go to the Clippers or the Raptors, at least they should have had some cap room available to offer him a max contract if they had the small window of opportunity to make that happen. That's a very big issue, very stupid on their part. But I'm going to go through the Knicks signings right now. They signed Julius Randle for 3 years, $63 million. Nice young player. I think they overpaid for him. Overpaid for him. You could have got him for 15. I would have signed him for 45 mil, give him 15 mil a year on a show me what you got type of contract. They signed a Taj Gibson, 2 years, 20 million. He's there for veteran presence and teach the young guys how to play some great defense. Bobby Portis, another power forward. Seem like they loaded up on power forwards. He signed a 2-year, $31 million $31 million contract, which there's a team option for year 2. So Knicks can get out of his contract after the first year. Reggie Bullock, sharpshooter from the Los Angeles Lakers, 2 years, $21 million, also a team option for year 2. Wayne Ellington, another shooter, 2 years, $16 million, team option for year 2. And Elfrid Payton, 2 years, $16 million, also with a team option for year 2. A backup point guard for Dennis Smith Jr. My focus is this year is the development of Dennis Smith Jr., Mitchell Robinson, Alonzo Trier, and Damian Dotson. Those are the 4 guys I'm looking for as Knicks to really step up and become part of the future of this team as they grow into a playoff team. I'm not sure how soon they'll get back to the playoffs, but if they make it to the playoffs, it's going to be because of R.J. Barrett and what he brings and what he brought to the team as from Duke. I think people have said that he's going to be a better player than Zion in the NBA. Let's see what happens. Let's hope so. Let's hope he becomes Michael Jordan. Let's hope he becomes something like Michael Jordan. So that's the free agent signing, and I want to explain to you why, in my opinion, why the Knicks didn't get Kyrie Irving, why the Knicks didn't get Kevin Durant, and why the Knicks didn't possibly are out of the running for Kawhi Leonard. And it's all because of James Dolan. When the incident with Charles Oakley has affected this franchise to unbelievable levels. Charles Oakley is a well-respected veteran of the NBA, although he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's a guy that has the pulse of a lot of high-profile players such as LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and all those guys. And the way he was treated at the Garden, which was televised and kept on being repeated over and over again through television, he actually got arrested at the Garden. This is a Knick legend. Not on the level of Clyde Frazier or Willis Reed or Patrick Ewing, but he was a Knick legend. He was the heart of the New York Knicks teams in the 90s. You just don't treat your old players like that. And guys in the NBA are very keen to that. And they're like, listen, if this owner could treat Charles Oakley like that, how do you expect him to treat me as a player? That's something that Dolan needs to I think he's tone deaf to that because he believes that he got all the money in the world. Yes, he's rich. He got a lot of money. He got optimum money. He got the Rangers money. He got all types of money coming in. But if the money's not attracting the guys to come to your team, the Mecca, the Garden is no longer a Mecca. It's just another arena now. It's all because of the owner. Players do not want to play for the owner. The stench of Phil Jackson is still there, and guys honestly don't want to play there, and it shows. Brooklyn Nets signed the best free agents. That was something the Knicks used to do back in the '90s. It was an attraction to play in the Garden. There was a time that even Michael Jordan flirted when he was in those contract negotiations with the Bulls to play with the Knicks in the '90s. He even flirted with it. But now it's not like that anymore. No one wants to come to the Knicks. LeBron doesn't want to come to the Knicks. KD doesn't want to come to the Knicks. Kyrie didn't want to come to the Knicks. Who else doesn't want to come to the Knicks? They overpaid Julius Randle. Like I said, he could have signed up for 15 mil per just to be like, all right, show me what you can do. I hope he develops into a player that he could be. Hope he develops into a max player while being a Knick uniform. You know, Taj Gibson, veteran presence, but you already have that with Lance Thomas. You already had that with other players that's on the team. And it creates log jam in the power forward center position because you're trying to develop Mitchell Robinson. These signings I would not have done as a general manager. I probably would have signed Bullock and Ellington and signed Julius Randle also, but I would not have signed Taj Gibson. I wouldn't have signed Bobby Portis because you create a logjam in that power forward position. I believe you could scour the free agent market a little bit more for a power forward. You could add Boogie Cousins if you're going to go there, or even resign Carmelo Anthony. I mean, even though Stephen A was like, hell no. I'm kind of in between about whether or not they should sign Carmelo Anthony. I don't think Carmelo Anthony's gonna go there. I think Carmelo Anthony's looking for that ring. He's looking to go to LA with LeBron. But this is the main thing I have right now with the NBA. Kawhi Leonard's still out there, and there's been rumors that he may end up going to the Lakers. Let me tell you something right now. If he does go to the Lakers, it's gonna be. There's no reason to watch because you already know who's going to win the championship. It's going to be the Lakers, and I feel that's overkill. In my opinion, it's overkill. It's straight up overkill. Why Kawhi would want to tarnish his legacy to go to a team that's already got two superstar players in LeBron and Anthony Davis? Why would he want to do that? It doesn't make any sense. I'm hoping it's just to drive up the price of Toronto or drive up the price with the Clippers. I think he's better. He's a better fit with the Clippers right now because they just need that one superstar. That one superstar, and they got a lot of great role players. They got Patrick Beverly, they got Danilo Gallinari, and all those guys over there. They got a good squad over there who went to the second round of the playoffs. He'll be walking into a similar situation like it did when he was traded from San Antonio to the Raptors. Before he went to the Raptors went to 2 Eastern Conference Finals, only to lose to LeBron. So this is kind of like the same situation, and I feel bad for Golden State. I'm one of those people. I'm one of the rare people. I actually like Steph Curry. I like the team. I just want to beat them. That's all. I would have loved to have any of those guys on the Knicks, including Draymond Green. Draymond could be a bit annoying, but he deserves a max contract when his contract is up for renewal. He definitely deserves the a max contract because what he does is all around game. The guy's very smart. He's a very smart player. I would say he's more a little bit towards Dennis Rodman type of mentality. People didn't give Dennis Rodman any credit for how intelligent of a basketball player he really was because of his antics. And Draymond is right there with it, right there up with him. You know, if Draymond develops more of a 3-point shot, listen, they're gonna Kevin Durant's gonna be an afterthought, and the dynasty is gonna continue. Albeit it's going to be in a more competitive Western Conference now that LeBron has teamed up with Anthony Davis. But the key about the Lakers is one thing about the Lakers is you got AD, you got LeBron, you got Kuzma. Who's your shooters? Instead of the Lakers trying to sign Kawhi Leonard, they could have got JJ Redick. I know they were looking at Wayne Ellington, but they're so fixated on trying to sign Kawhi Leonard, a third superstar, that the Knicks came and swooped in and took him on their team for a $2 million, like I said, 2 years, $16 million. That is, that's something that when you're looking for superstars too much, you miss out on the great role players that fit well into your system, fits well into what you're trying to do as an offensive team. And the reason why like I said, the reason why Toronto Raptors won their championship is because you had one superstar, one Robin, which is Kyle Lowry, and everyone else played their roles to the maximum. That's the reason why they beat Golden State. Forget about the injuries. We can't make excuses because Kevin Durant was hurt and Klay Thompson was hurt. You are what you are. You are the team that was put on that floor to play in that finals. So we're not gonna use injuries as an excuse why they didn't win the championship. So we're not gonna do that. But like I said, it's an interesting prospect here. I'm sorry I gotta apologize again because I didn't come up with if I was GM, if I was New York Knicks GM, my what I would have done. But I want to ask you guys a question though. How would you feel if Boogie Cousins came to the team? Even though they done price themselves out for Boogie Cousins, unless he's coming in for the minimum. How would you feel about Boogie Cousins coming onto this team right now with Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Taj Gibson, and Bobby Portis? It's a big logjam in power forward right now. A big logjam in power forward and center. How are you going to play all these guys? It'll be a little bit more talented than last year's team. And the reason why I would probably do Boogie Cousins now because of the veteran presence of Taj Gibson, a leader like Taj Gibson. I believe he could rein in Boogie Cousins to focus on the team when the times are rough. That's what I truly believe in. I think he would do that and rein him in. But Carmelo Anthony, that in itself is going to stunt the growth of Kevin Knox. It's going to stunt the growth of R.J. Barrett. I would not do that. Would I be excited? Maybe. But I just want to know what his intentions are, what his mental is coming back to the team. Does he think he could be a 29 per game scorer, or he's going to try to fit in and help the team at least get to the 8th seed? And to be honest with you, as a GM, I don't want to just go for the 8th seed. If I can't make the top 5, I'm going to try my best to develop my players and let the chips fall where they may, and try to get a top 10 lottery pick again this coming year. That's the way I would do it. I wouldn't go into full tank mode because I don't think this team, the way it is constructed right now, is going to win more than 17 games. If you had put a gun to my head, I would probably say they would win like 32 games, 33 games. Because now, David Fizdale, he can't say that it's not about winning games now. This is his second year as Knicks head coach. Now he has to show that he could coach with the talent he has at his disposal right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he has to do as a Knicks coach. And like I said, it's been a painful offseason for the Knicks. It didn't bring me to tears, but when you deal with disappointment, listen, I'm a New York Knicks, Met fan, Jet fan. I'm kind of getting numb to the disappointments, but at least one of my teams is going to turn into a different direction next year, which is the New York Jets. I think they're in good hands, albeit you know, I like the way McCadney was fired. I don't like the whole system of head coach direct line to the owner. GM has a separate line to the owner. I just don't like that dynamic. It just causes problems, in my opinion. And the last thing I'm going to say about the NBA, I believe that J.R. Smith. We all remember J.R. Smith, right, guys? Um, I believe he's going to go to the Lakers. He's going to help out LeBron, probably for a veteran minimum salary, as he tries to get out of Cleveland. Cleveland basically fired his ass. They didn't want him on the court. So yeah, I believe he's going to the Lakers, and that's my opinion on the NBA free agency. Summer 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 camp is starting. I mean, the summer league is starting, so I already seen some games going on there with the rookies. And I just want to lay an honorary mention to the Haitian national team. You know, I want to shout out to my Haitian brethren, my family, my Haitian brothers. They played a hell of a game against Mexico, even though I believe they got screwed after extended time, after overtime, when they called that dubious penalty in which the guy's back was turned. He wasn't even kicking towards the goal. Mexico wasn't even kicking towards the goal. They called a penalty kick for Mexico, which I was pissed off. I was pissed off about that because I felt Haiti had a chance to win. They played very well. Mexico got lucky. Mexico didn't come with the A game and was gifted a victory, in my opinion. I'm not saying that because I'm Haitian. I'm saying that because that's what I saw in the game. So Mexico beats Haiti 1-0 after 120 minutes of play. That's a lot of time, man. That's an hour and a half. Not even. That's what. Let me see. What is it? 90 minutes is an hour and a half. So almost 2 hours. 2 hours exactly of playing games. The Haitian team look tired, exhausted, disappointed, but they did well in their group. They went 3-0 in their group, and but my hope is just that the team just improves and gets ready for the World Cup. I expect them to be qualified for the World Cup for the next round of the World Cup, and we'll go from there. But as you say, like I said, guys, this is only episode 1. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to me for this past year. Even though I was a little bit late with my 1-year anniversary show, but I'm here to give you guys more content. Hopefully I'm going to expand on more content also. You can listen to the podcast on Joey G Radio. It should be on point and live soon. You can listen to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker Podcast, Pocket Cast, as well as SoundCloud. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, definitely hit me up on my email, TruPlayazPodcast@gmail.com. Once again, it's TruPlayaz podcast@gmail.com. Subscribe. When you guys go on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, please subscribe to the podcast. Definitely, all the support is appreciated and appreciated and loved. I just want to, and anybody wants to come and be a guest host on the podcast, I'm open to that. Like I said, we don't hold no punches on this podcast. We are gully. We say what the fuck we want. We can even curse if you do whatever the fuck you want. That's what we're gonna do to get our point across. There's no sugarcoating shit on this podcast. You heard? So I'm gonna sign off on this podcast. I'm gonna hit you with another one real soon about the Mets, and I need a whole podcast for that on its own. I could have added it with this podcast, but no, I needed a whole New York Mets. This past week was bananas. But I'm gonna sign off on this podcast. I'm gonna holler at you guys later. Peace.